I want to go to Willie Waffle, who's standing by on the line right now. Willie, good morning.
And good morning to all of you today.
Did you watch any football last night?
No, I was actually at the movies, so I didn't get a chance. And I'm usually like a big football fan. Like, I love to watch the preseason games just to see, like, how the guys who got drafted are doing. Every team has at least one guy who, like, has this amazing story, and you're rooting for him to make the team, and maybe he's going to make the final cut. I love everything about football.
I think there's, with this new quarterback for the Bills, I think there's a little bit of that going on here. So I'm excited, and I'm usually excited for about the first 3 weeks, and then I become a Mets fan during the NFL season. And then there's nothing. Then you're watching old 1986 Mets games. That's what happens as a Bills fan and a Mets fan. Or old Bills games where they lost to the Super Bowl. 3-4 movies. Did you see all of these movies, by the way?
Well, no, I didn't get a chance to see Slenderman because I just could only pack the 3 in.
All right,
but I think I picked the one that everybody really is talking about, and then the one that I think people are going to want to see if they're willing to take a chance on it.
Okay, well, let's start with Dog Days.
Yeah, let's get that one out of the way. Oh, my God. Yeah, how dogs bring people together, and it's a wonderful sentiment, but it's just a big, sappy, cruddy, silly movie. All these people in Los Angeles who meet because they have a mutual love of dogs. So, you've got the mean anchor woman from the news who has a new co-anchor, and they get along now because they both have dogs. Aww. And, people find companionship. And there's a love triangle as one woman has to pick between the hunky vet or the nerdy dog rescue guy. And I'm sorry, spoiler alert, in real life, that nerdy guy doesn't have one heck of a chance, okay?
No matter what the dog is he's got.
Yeah, he can have the greatest dog ever. It ain't overcoming the reality. So, yeah, it's a movie that tries to be silly for kids, tries to be goofy for kids. The rest of us are going to be like, if I want to see cute dogs, I've got Facebook.
Yeah.
So I'll say 1.5 waffles.
Or they have a dog already, right? I mean, they've already got their own stupid, cute little dog.
And most often they think their dog is the cutest of all time.
By the way, I'm so glad we don't have a dog because we had a skunk in our pool yesterday, Willie, and this thing was, I've never seen anything like it. This thing was able to swim from about 2:30 in the morning, at least that's when I first saw it, until about 9:30 yesterday morning. This thing was able to swim. And
My
it was,
Lord.
I don't know how, I thought for sure it was going to drown and I'd be pulling it off the bottom, but no. And it didn't spray. My son took the skimmer just like they gave us the directions to do on the air yesterday. The thing was so exhausted, took the skimmer, kind of got him right out and out of the pool. I have a video of it. I'll put it up and just kind of, he waddled. It was done before I got home.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, and I raced
that
out.
was very nice.
I was on my way to do it. So. Okay, The Meg. What is this?
Oh, yeah, this is Jason Statham versus a dinosaur shark. Yeah, nothing says summer like this kind of movie, man. He's the tortured soul. He's haunted by an incident that happened years ago, and he hasn't gotten into the water since. But now his ex-wife and a bunch of his friends are exploring the depths of the ocean lower than anybody's ever gone before. And they unleash a 75-foot-long prehistoric megalodon shark, and it's hungry.
Mm.
Yeah. And when it's goofy and when it's campy, that's the movie this needs to be, okay? I don't need it to be dramatic. Frankly, it's horrible when it tries to be dramatic. It's better when it's just Jason Statham acting with disgust at all the preposterous action around him and throwing around one-liners. That's when you enjoy this movie.
What do you give this blockbuster?
I'll go 2 waffles. You'll enjoy it on just kind of a campy level.
So Spike Lee has a new movie out, and it is playing here starting last night. Black Klansman. And I'm very curious about this movie. I think I want to see it. I just don't know what it's going to be. And here you are.
Well, I think it's worth going to see. I think, it's already getting some buzz about being a possible Oscar contender.
Wow.
It's a really interesting story. And, it's Spike Lee. I mean, the guy's one of the great directors of all time. So you've got this somewhat true story of an African-American cop back in the 70s He's not really being taken seriously at the precinct, so he decides he'll make a big splash by infiltrating the Klan. But the problem arises that, they love him on the phone as he's talking, the Klan language and roping them in, but they want him to come to a meeting. And he knows that's not a meeting he should go to.
Well,
so he recruits a Jewish police officer who's also on the force.
Okay. Okay, so is this a comedy?
Well, it's kind of a comedy, and it's kind of got this sly political commentary and social commentary. It's got some dramatic parts to it. I think Spike Lee mixes it up. I mean, he does come from that left wing, viewpoint, but he kind of makes it a little bit more complicated than that with some of the people's opinions about the cops and how the cops feel about it, and some of the opinions about the Klan that I think most of us can agree with.
Yeah.
And then where I think the dividing line is in this movie is towards the end. Spike Lee includes a whole bunch of stuff about the Charlottesville riots from last year and Donald Trump's reaction. And I think if you hate Trump, you're going to think that's the greatest part of the movie.
Yeah.
And if you like Trump, you're going to be like, why did Spike Lee ruin this really good movie I was enjoying with all this politics?
Well, and it's interesting because we're at the anniversary of all of that right now this weekend.
Yeah.
And, of course,
and
white supremacy
that's why I
marches
think he tossed
this weekend.
it in.
Yeah, interesting. Who's the guy that the old actor? I'm not going to be able to come up with it now. That this is in a style. Who other than Spike Lee? Who would you say this movie is done in their style? Can you think of anybody?
Oh boy, that's a hard one. I mean, it's such a Spike Lee movie.
Okay.
I mean, it really just breathes the kind of stuff like Jungle Fever when he did that,
Got it.
or Do the Right Thing. I mean, it really feels like that.
Were you thinking of like Tarantino? How it's like got a serious subject matter.
The Tarantino movies is what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
And would you say anything close to that, or no? This is just Spike Lee.
There's kind of an aspect to that, kind of the absurdness of what people are taking seriously, and the absurdness of the Klan people, I think, is comedy there. And I think that could speak to Tarantino a bit,
right.
Sure.
And how many waffles on this again?
I'm going to say 3.5 waffles. I think you got a pretty good movie.
All right, so that's something worth seeing. 3.5. Willie, enjoy the weekend. Thanks. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
All right, we'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
Thanks so much. Willie is off next week. Got a break at WIBX.